Hey guys, a happy Thursday. It's Joe. It's time for a Puck with Joe. We got a loaded slate tonight and we made some good freaking money last night as well. Hope you guys rode with me with Clayton Keller for that anytime goal. I can't even remember. What did we get it at? Plus 175, plus 185. I got to check my notes. I've been looking at so many numbers today. Plus 185 for that anytime goal. He came out. He got 2 of those goals last night, and the Coyotes almost upset. So if you rode the Coyotes plus the 2.5 with me or plus the 1.5, the over 1.5 in that first period, both teams to score in the first period, we definitely cashed some money. We cashed money with the Penguins team total over 2.5. If you sprinkled on that money line, you definitely would be happy today at plus 140. That first period didn't cash. We didn't get both teams to score. We didn't get the over 1.5, but we did get Sidney Crosby for that anytime goal, which was plus 165 as well. It was a fantastic night on the ice. So let's carry it over into tonight's games. Like I said, we got a huge slate today, guys. 12 games. We're going to go over each and every one of them, just like we always do. So let's jump into it. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you hit that subscribe button, then you know when I go live on the weekend. My schedule is kind of crazy with my Sports Grid shows, so I can't guarantee what time I'm going live. Just depends on if I have enough time before to get it up, but I will try, you guys. So hit that subscribe button. Big shout out to each and every one of you. I love seeing you guys in here each and every day. The Coyotes, how can you go wrong with the Coyotes plus 1.5? I tell you. Yeah, the Penguins are playing hard. We're going to look at them again tonight in tonight's matchup. They're on a back-to-back, a place where they notoriously struggle, you guys, but we're going to look at them. Here we go. Let's get this done, you guys. And you're welcome, Daniel. Thank you for being here, and thank you for commenting. You guys being here each and every day is the only reason that I do it. If you guys didn't turn up, I guess I would talk to myself, and I probably still talk hockey to myself. Actually, to be honest with you, I love talking hockey, so it'll just be kind of lonely, only just me. Just let me have one sip of coffee, then we're going to jump right into this. Okay, so the Minnesota Wild and the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this one kicks off at 6:30 Eastern, so got an earlier game. We have Marc-Andre Fleury confirmed in goal for the Wild and Carter Hart for the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, I think he's still expected. I haven't seen confirmation of him in here. Now, when we look at the Wild, they're coming in. It was a short favorite, and this line kind of scares me. They're only minus 145. They're sitting second in the Central, and we have the Philadelphia Flyers sitting 7th in the Metro. I really did expect the Wild to be bigger favorites coming into this one. They are coming off an overtime win versus the New Jersey Devils. That was a 2-1 win for the Minnesota Wild. And when we look at the Philadelphia Flyers, they're actually playing better hockey as of late. They're off that 6-3 win over the Panthers on Tuesday night, which was, I don't know what happened to the Panthers in that game, honestly, but the Flyers definitely came out and played a really solid game. Now, the problem with the Flyers here is looking at them to build back-to-back wins. In their last 8 games following a win, they've lost that next game, but they are playing better. The home team has had an advantage between these two, with the home team going 5-2 in the last 7. Looking at this one, the short price on the Wild scares me. We got a total of 5.5. I'm definitely hitting it over the 5.5. I think people are, or the books are expecting the Flyers to give the Wild a bigger push than we would expect. So I think that's why we're getting this price on the Wild. The Wild have won the last 4 meetings. This should be a $2 favorite. That's where my reservations could come in. I do think hitting the over 5.5 is where I have to go. If you make me take a side, it would be the Wild. I would take them here just to minus 145, not in regulation, because you guys know how easily these games can go to overtime at this point of the year. Now, I'm looking at Matt Boldy. He has been playing phenomenal for the Minnesota Wild. Over 3.5 shots on goal today. We're getting plus money at plus 115. In his last 2 games, he's had 5 and 6 shots on goal against harder defenses. So I do think he's a good one to look at here. Now, if you like the trends of teams coming off overtime and how they do in that first period off of overtime, the Wild actually do not trend positively. So their last 4 games following overtime, they have lost that first period. So with them off that overtime win over the New Jersey Devils, if you look at the Philadelphia Flyers here, in the first period. It's plus 112. Not sure if I'll get there with the Flyers on the money line in that first period, but something for you guys to consider if you're looking for a first period bet. We will get to the Flames game. Okay, so the Flames play on Saturday. I'm drawing up, I have so many games in my head, Thomas. We'll get to that. I promise who the Flames play on Saturday. It's in my notes. If you can't stick around, I'll do it after we go through all of these games. So stick around and we'll go through that one. Happy Thursday, Kevin, Johnny, and Junkie viewer. So let's get to it. I haven't looked at Tibbetts props for these games, so I can look at that after as well. We'll look at Tibbet after when we get to the end of the show. We'll look at his props tonight. There's so many players to go over, you guys. Looking at their different lines and everything is kind of crazy some days, especially when you got a 12-game slate. We're going to talk the next game, though, 7 p.m. Eastern, the Montreal Canadiens taking on the Boston Bruins. Now, this looks like one of those games that should be clear-cut and dry, but is it? Boston rolling in here. We know they've clinched the Atlantic. We know they've let some games go in games that they just decided not to show up. Now, they dominated over the Sabres in a game where they were just kind of like, this is our division. We're proving a point. They played a really hard defensive game versus the Ottawa Senators as well. That was Tuesday, and I was really impressed with what we saw out of the Senators in that one. 2-1 win for the Boston Bruins. Now, they have a couple harder opponents on deck after the Montreal Canadiens. They face the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'm a little worried. Don't want to lay the 2.5 on the puck line that you have to lay to get any positive money here. Actually, you're still paying some juice on laying the 2.5 because they're coming in at minus 435 on that money line, plus 350 here for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, Jake Allen is confirmed, if I can talk. He is confirmed in goal for Montreal, and I wish it was Sam Montembeault here. I really do, because I like what we've seen out of him in goal. When we look at Montreal, they are off an upset win already over the Tampa Bay Lightning. They got that 3-2 win on Tuesday. But are they going to lose this game by 3 goals is the question, because we can get Montreal plus 2.5 at minus 135. And I do think there's some sort of value there. But we've seen Montreal fail to cover the puck line in the last 4 games in Boston. They have struggled versus this Boston Bruins team, but I don't think this Boston Bruins team's in the mindset to blow Montreal out of the water. And I could be completely wrong. The Bruins could just want to dominate everyone within the Atlantic to prove a point. And if they decide to turn it on, but then they risk injury. And I look at the motivation of these teams that have already clinched, that are sitting there facing the worst team within their division. What's their motivation? Nothing. The motivation of the Montreal Canadiens is they're last. They're not making playoffs, but they're fighting for contracts, you guys. These guys either want to get more time next year, they want to make sure they're re-signed and everything like that. So I do think Montreal plus 2.5 is a smart way to go. And I also think this is an under 6.5. I don't see a lot of goals coming in this one because I don't expect Boston to all of a sudden light things up. Now, this defense is only landing at 2.11. I do expect a lower scoring one like we saw in the Montreal Lightning game, 3-2 style game. Not shocked if Boston wins this at all. I expect Boston to win at 3-2, but I wouldn't be shocked if Montreal came out and got the 3-2 win, with Boston just kind of cruising through the movements in this game. So it's going to be an interesting one when we look at how these teams have performed to that under. 10 of the last 16 meetings have hit that under. 2 have pushed, 4 have gone over. And then in Boston, 7 of the last 9 have gone under that total, 1 of those being a push. So 1 of those going over that total. You guys, I just have to move a couple windows here with my odds up. And I have a Mac, so I hit the wrong key and I don't know how to get out. Oh, this is fun. There we go. You guys, I have a Mac computer here and I use Windows for everything else, and I was just not able to get out of my screen. I couldn't see you guys for a minute, but we are back. Let's get this done. Montreal is, Montreal is terrible. I know. But what's Boston's reasoning for wanting to come out and dominate? Unless Montreal can't score, I could see this even being a 3-0 game for the Boston Bruins, right? I don't think this is a game where Boston risks injury and pushes the pace. Okay. Big shout out to you. Thank you so much for being here today. Boston 6, Montreal 1. Again, if Boston decides to come out and dominate, this is the thing. And this is why we have 12 games on the slate. You guys don't have to bet every one of them. I'll tell you my best bets at the end of the day so you guys can get an idea of which ones that I'm betting. But I give you all the information, what you guys want to take from here. Definitely take from here. I'm not betting every single game. I'm trying to give you weight information on both sides. I wouldn't be shocked if Boston came out and did that either, right? This is just, what's the mindset of Boston? This is a divisional opponent sitting last. Do they want to get injured? And we look ahead at their schedule. With the Lightning and the Canes on deck, I look at Boston as cruising through this game. Let's just ease through this game versus Montreal, go home, and then get out on the road. Yeah, no value on Montreal. It's true. There isn't any value. Boston's not letting up. They need the momentum going into playoffs. Randy, they do. But versus the Lightning and Canes, versus a team like Montreal, I tell you, hard to do before playoffs start. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Wild, Lightning, Caps, Stars, and Knights. Money line, Larry. Like where you're going with that. Okay, let's look at the next game on the board. I could talk about motivations of teams all day long. This game, motivation central. We have the New York Rangers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. We know what just happened. We got that overtime game, right? We had the Canes win that game 3-2 in New York. Now, they're in Carolina, and the New York Rangers come in at plus 330. Now, hats off to the Canes for getting the win in the Garden. I didn't think it would go this way, but I do think this is one where we get sudden revenge. I'm going to take the New York Rangers at plus 130. I do think there's so much value on them here. When we look at them in a home-on-home matchup where they're in their home or an opponent's home and then vice versa, in these matchups, they have gone 5-0 in the last 5. So on that next game of the home and home. So I do think this is a great opportunity to pick up the Rangers, sudden revenge here. They're battling this out for the Metro. And we've got the Rangers third in the Metro, the Canes first in the Metro. The Metro is still wide open. No one has clinched this division. Now, Igor Shesterkin is confirmed in goal for the New York Rangers, and we all have great love for him. Now, he started off the season kind of rough, but he is falling right back into Igor Shesterkin form. Frederik Andersen confirmed here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, when we look at these two teams, when they face off, the underdog really has had the advantage, winning the last 4 games. The New York Rangers have won their last 5 first periods too. So one thing to consider when you're betting this, if you want to look at the New York Rangers in that first period, I don't hate it at all. Rangers winning 4 of their last 5 overall. The Canes won their last 2. This is going to be a battle. This is one that I think can go to overtime tonight, you guys. We know how many games between the Rangers and different opponents have gone to overtime. The Rangers looking to build those points. Now to go to overtime in this one, it's plus 330. But I do lean on the Rangers to get the win with Igor Shesterkin. And I think it's going to be a very solid game. So if you like the Rangers, you can also look that first period for the Rangers, taking them there on the money line. You're going to get great value. And like I said, they've won their last 5 first periods. Okay. We're going to move on to the next one here. Frankie, nice to see your name. Haven't seen it before, but appreciate you being here. Rangers money line and plus 1.5 for parlay. Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a 1-goal game, Neil. I love where you're going with that plus 1.5 within a parlay, because I do think 1-goal game comes down to a little puck luck. Whichever goalie can stand better on their head. I trust Igor Shesterkin much more than Andersen here. So I do think so. New York Rangers, Carolina under 1 first period hit the other day again. Okay. I struggle to bet unders in that first period. I hate betting them, Kelly. So all the best with your bets with those unders in the first period. I do think the Rangers take the first period. We look at the Carolina Hurricanes, really strong defensively, that's how this unit comes out. They come out strong. They don't care if they fall behind, and they fight back, and they can still get these wins if the other team does score. So while you might want to bet the under 1.5, I don't blame you. I just can't touch it. Personally, for myself, I hate betting the unders, and when I do lean to an under, I take the full game, because I really do think, looking at these goalies, and you guys might have a different opinion, when they come out, we see the shakiness to start, the nerves to start. Any athlete hitting the field, those quick mistakes, they get more in tuned as the games go on. And that's just my opinion. But so I hate those first period under 1.5s, where some of them really cash, because we have the defenses coming out so strong. Now you got to look, when you're looking at those, for defenses that really limit their opponent's ability to get those shots on goal. Carolina is one of those teams, only allowing 25.9, but the New York Rangers are getting up there. They're allowing that 29.4. So if the offenses come out super strong, that over 1.5 or that under 1.5 can so easily be blown. So that's why it scares me. But I do think it is a nice way to go if you have the nerves to do it. I just don't have the nerves to do it. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Ottawa Senators. We got a total 6.5 in this one. Tampa short price at -125. Brian Elliott likely in here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Sogard likely here for the Ottawa Senators. Now looking at this is the Battle of the Atlantic. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning coming in 3rd in the Atlantic, the Ottawa Senators 5th in the Atlantic. I'm kind of nervous for the Tampa Bay Lightning here. They just got beat by the Montreal Canadiens. They're kind of playing a little sloppy. And I look at who they have on deck. Now it's Thursday. They have the Boston Bruins on deck on Saturday. But this is an Atlantic divisional opponent that has already clinched. I worry that Tampa's looking ahead to them to prove a point. What is going to happen if they fall down here? I don't know. They still want the points. So I think we have both teams come out really strong in that first period. With Brian Elliott in that, I do think first period, both teams to score at +142 is the right way to go with this game. We're getting beautiful plus money there. I'm going to look at Braden Point for the anytime goal at +120. We know Brady Tkachuk also. We can look at him for an anytime goal. He's at +125. I do think there's value in both of those players. I was kind of flirting with the Senators team total, taking that over 2, but I just didn't love the value. They've got the Devils on deck, but they're not a divisional opponent. Devils sitting in the Metro Division. So I do think this one goes over 6.5. I think this is a 4-3 game. I think we've got some really tight games in tonight's card. I also do think a lot of these games go over that total, as these offenses are really trying to find a way to score these goals. Now, as we get deeper into the season, right before those playoffs hit, I really do think defense is going to start locking down a lot more. And I think teams notorious for their defense, we're going to really see that in. But in this game tonight, Battle of the Atlantic, with such talent on both offenses, I do think this one goes over the 6.5. And for full games, you guys, I really hate betting over 6.5. I really do prefer to bet those unders, because either it's a blowout over 6.5 or we sweat it the whole time. So first period's my favorite bet for both teams to score in this game at +142. Braden Point and Brady Tkachuk for those anytime goals, both at plus money, +120 for Braden Point and +125 for Brady Tkachuk, the over 6.5. And when we look at the last 16 meetings, these teams have trended to that over. 12 of the last 16 hitting that over. And in Ottawa, 6 of the last 8 hitting that over. Okay, next game on the board, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Florida Panthers. Matt Murray expected here for the Leafs. Bobrovsky confirmed for the Florida Panthers. Now, we know the Florida Panthers are one of those teams. They just come out flying. They're averaging 37 shots per game on goal. So Matt Murray is going to have an absolutely incredible night for them to get this win. Again, I look at nerves. We got 2 solid goaltenders. I love Bobrovsky here for the Florida Panthers, but I still do think both teams score in the first period. That's coming in at +136. We look at these offenses. They are so incredibly talented. And like I said, when I'm looking at a higher scoring game, I don't like taking that full game over. I like looking at that first period, expecting both of these teams to give their best offensively, lock down defensively in the second and the third. So give me both teams to score in the first period at +136. If you like the over 1.5, You can take that too. It's kind of juicy there, so I'm not going to get it. If you really want a full game bet, I do lean to the over 7. But this is one, you guys, I've learned so much with Sports Grid on that live betting. You can see these numbers instantly start dropping as the minutes count down in that first period and no one has scored. So as soon as that hits at 6.5 in this game, which it will, if no one scores in the first 5 minutes, if someone scores right away, you're screwed. That total is not going to drop from 7 to 6.5. But if we see no scoring in that first 5 minutes, we will see that total drop. And then the same thing as we go on and watch this game. If we all of a sudden have 3 goals in that first period, that total is going to go up. We're going to see 7.5. Betting it under at that point is a phenomenal way to go. So live betting these games has been absolute money. Remember, if you're riding a team and they go down big, the opportunity of a lot of these teams to come back, or even grabbing them on that puck line plus the goal and a half or the 2 goals, whatever they go down by, and the books are giving you, has been cashing on this season. So great ways to look. So give me both first period, both teams to score at plus 136 between the Leafs and the Panthers. This one, I think, has a prime opportunity to go to overtime. Now we have the Florida Panthers. They're sitting 4th in the Atlantic, the Toronto Maple Leafs 2nd in the Atlantic. This whole line looks a little high here for the Florida Panthers. I'm kind of nervous with this. We're getting plus 115 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Are they trying to trick us into Toronto or scare us into taking Florida is my questioning here. I thought these teams should be pretty even. Even with the Toronto Maple Leafs on the road, we know the books over adjust the value of the Leafs. But at plus 115, it looks so tempting on the Leafs, but I do think the Florida Panthers are just fighting way too bad here. So I've got to look at the Florida Panthers in this one. But I do think it's a tight fought battle. To go to overtimes plus 380. And I do like that there. The Leafs 6-1-1 in the last 8 meetings, though, you guys. So if Toronto brings their A game and the Panthers don't, the Panthers have no chance in this one. Yeah, it looks like an over game. Absolutely. Panthers money line and the over 7 live betting has been fantastic. Yeah, live betting is absolutely fantastic. Huge money comebacks. Like you look at Edmonton in their last 2 games. If you jumped on Edmonton in the last 2 games, as soon as they went down, they've come back and won both of those. So something to look at. There's another team like the Sharks. Even though you don't think the Sharks are that good of team, you look at the Sharks to dig back and cover that puck line. The Sharks are a team that does not give up. You look at some of these dog teams, and as soon as that favorite goes up, you have the ability to grab that dog plus more on that puck line. And it definitely has been profitable if you've been betting like that this season. Now let's talk about 2 kind of crappy teams here. I'm wearing blue, not for the St. Louis Blues today, but I do think the St. Louis Blues have a chance. They're taking on the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings coming in here minus 125 plus 105 for the St. Louis Blues. Now, these teams just played on Tuesday night, so this isn't a replay of Tuesday shows. The Red Wings won 3-2 in a shootout. All 4 goals in that game. It was really funny because I believe we had a total of 6.5. Both teams scored 2 goals in that first period. I had both teams to score in the first period in my bets. And we had 4 goals and then nothing. The second and third period. So anyone who jumped in on an over, hopefully you guys jumped in on an under at that point if you're live betting it, because we had to go to shootout where the Detroit Red Wings won 3-2. So it was a crazy game. Crazy to see those goals coming in so quick in that first period. But I do think there's value on the Blues here to get that sudden revenge. Now, they were in St. Louis for the last game. They will be in Detroit for this one. We look at the Red Wings. They've lost their last 7 at home following an overtime win. The Red Wings are one of those teams that, they win some games and then they just lose some so terribly. You're like, why? Why did I ever think the Red Wings could win something? But I don't think they do here. The St. Louis Blues have also played phenomenally well in Detroit, and I know they've sold off like everyone. Jordan Binghamton's basically benched. I don't think he will be with the Blues very much longer, but I really hope that Fleury gets a piece of him before his career is done. So, yeah, that goalie almost fight where Binghamton just lost his mind is what I'm talking about. Yeah, you can get the St. Louis Blues plus 105, sudden revenge here. I lean to the over in this one, over 6.5. I know that last game was a lower scoring one, but I do think this one probably reverts to a higher scoring one. It's not something I'm rushing to bet, though. The next one, you guys, St. Louis new goalie. Yeah, you can go with that. He's played a couple games, though, right? Like, he's not brand new here, so I don't know. 7-0 off a loss. Panthers haven't lost the road 7-0 last 7. Yeah, Panthers have been absolutely solid on the road. You're on the Blues on the money line too. I like it. Oh, well, thank you, Groovy Caps. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, he's had 3 starts. He's had a couple. So I don't know. I don't trust that under, just because we look at how terrible these defenses are. And the St. Louis Blues have actually been putting up the goals. They're still averaging 3.1 goals per game. So, and both teams allowing these attempts, both allowing around that, or averaging about that 28 shots on goal and allowing 32-30. So I do think there is opportunities for these goals to go in. But if you're liking him, definitely look at his goalie props tonight and what numbers he is getting. The Chicago Blackhawks and the Washington Capitals, 7 o'clock Eastern for this one. Now, the Blackhawks have a goalie up. He was traded to the Blackhawks at the trade deadline, and this is his debut for the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, he's 36-year-old Anton, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. It's spelled Khudo Dobbin. Dobbin is the last part of this. He is confirmed. So he's 36 years old. He's a veteran. He's gone 13-4-4 with a .899 save percentage and a 2.89 goals against average in 24 games for the Texas Stars in the AHL prior to be called up here for Chicago. So he's been pretty solid in the AHL. But the problem is the Chicago Blackhawks come in here just absolutely struggling in Washington. They've only won 1 of the last 9 meetings in Washington. The last time Washington played the Blackhawks, they got that 7-3 win. Now, Washington sitting 6th in the Metro, 8th in the Central for the Blackhawks here. Kemper is confirmed back, but Kemper's back from an upper body injury. So I do give worries that the Chicago Blackhawks will score on him, as well as the Washington Capitals scoring on this goalie brought up. And I know sometimes these goalies have phenomenal nights, but I do think this is one where the Caps are digging so deep. Ovechkin's playing absolutely incredible. The Blackhawks give up too many attempts to protect a younger goalie. Like when we look at the Vegas Golden Knights, when they brought up Cobley, at least we had a team, the LA Kings, when they brought up Cobley, at least we had a team that sort of limited shots on goal. The Blackhawks allow 34 shots on goal per game. So I think it's going to be a hard night for Anton here. I do expect Ovi to go over his 5 shots on goal, 5+ shots on goals coming in at -128, just because the Blackhawks give up so many opportunities. Now, the Capitals are 1-5 in their last 5 overall. They failed to cover that puck line in their last 11 games as a home favorite, but they did win this matchup 7-3 back in December. They've lost their last 3. So the Capitals are struggling right now, but I do think they can win this game. The problem is the juice on this game, -285. So you got to look at a puck line. I'd look at the Washington Capitals on the puck line in that first period, and I just got to look at those odds because off the top of my head, I cannot remember. First period puck line. First period puck line for the Capitals is -0.5 goal at +106. And I think that is a solid way to go. Look for the Capitals to come out strong in that first. I rely more on Kemper, even though he's coming back off of injury, off a brand new brought up from the Texas Stars AHL team in Anton. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does. Ovi had a hat trick versus him in December. Yeah, so Ovechkin is such an incredibly strong player, and he's trying to carry the weight of this team. If you want to bet him for another hat trick here, I wouldn't doubt it. I like his shots on goal. I like him for the anytime goal. The hat trick, if this goalie comes out cold, absolutely. So I think the Washington Capitals probably cover the puck line for the full game. When I look at these things, I kind of go, well, let's look at the first period. Let's give them a hot first period. And Carlson coming back. Great news for them. So, yeah, so give me the Capitals first period. If you like them on the puck line for the full game, right now the puck line for the full game at -1.5 is -128. So we're getting more value in the first period if you think they come out strong in the first. The Seattle Kraken and the Nashville Predators. Now this is going to be an interesting one. The Kraken rolling in here at -130 plus 110 for the Nashville Predators, total 6.5. Now Joey Decor is confirmed here for the Seattle Kraken. He's 2-0-0 on the season. I do expect him to kind of come and stand his ground. Saros expected here for the Nashville Predators. Now we know the Predators aren't a team that really light up the net. These two teams play again on Saturday in Nashville again. Okay, so here's my thought. You guys have been to Nashville, right? And if you haven't been to Nashville, it's like a country Vegas on steroids. I actually was really shocked when I went to Nashville this past September. I didn't expect it to be like that. So you've got the Seattle Kraken team in Nashville tonight, and then they don't play again till Saturday. If the Preds are going to win one of these matchups, they live in Nashville. They win the second one. I think the Kraken dominate this first one. They might go out Friday night. Might do a little bit too much partying in Nashville. That's what I would do as a hockey player if I was there. That's my thoughts. Take it with that as you want. I also really like how the Kraken are playing right now on the road, winning their last 6 road games. We also are getting a short price at -130 for the Seattle Kraken. Now, they are coming off 1 day's rest, which is not notoriously strong for them, not able to win their last 4 games playing on that 1 day's rest. The Predators have been strong versus the Pacific, going 4-1 in their last 5, but versus teams with winning records like the Kraken, they struggled, so they're not even able to beat these strong teams. They're beating teams with losing records in the Pacific. So they're only 1-5 in the last 6 versus teams with winning records. They are coming off that big win over the Sabres too. Well, the Sabres need to go golfing, you guys. I don't even want to talk about the Sabres anymore. That is for sure. Go Kraken. You're taking the Kraken on the money line. Both teams to score in the first period. Yeah, I think both teams to score in the first period is definitely a great way to go in this one. OV, first to score. You're going to get great value on Ovechkin to be the first player to score. And David, I'm going to be honest with you. I never bet these first players to score. It feels like such a gamble. I would rather make less juice and I do it in football too. I don't take that first touchdown scorer. I don't take the first goal scorer because so much crap can happen. We know this in a game. So many different things can happen. I feel like it's kind of a lottery ticket. If I'm going to do that, I feel like I'm throwing away my money, where I think we've got a lot of chances for these players at, plus 115, at -112 even, to get that anytime goal. So that's where I go with that. Yeah, his shots on goal prop +5.5. We're getting value on there. Go Kraken. The Preds money line and the puck line for the parlay. I do think it's a tight one. I really do. I think I don't see Seattle blowing them out of the water. They're 24-11 on the road on that puck line, though, and the Nashville Predators are 14-19. They're 5th in the Central. Kraken are fighting for just as much, too, sitting 4th in the Pacific. So they're really fighting to stay relevant. Last time out, the Kraken did win 5-1. And this total 6, I think it goes over, you guys. Like you guys said, the Predators team total, look at that team total to go over. I do think this is one. The Preds give us enough goals, and we know the Kraken. They come out really strong. Now, they are holding opponents to limited goals, so I wouldn't limited shots on goal. I wouldn't take anyone from the Predators for shots on goal, but I'd be looking at their anytime goals because I still do think they come in, even though they're limited. Now, if you're liking shots on goal, you definitely look for the Seattle Kraken's ability to get these shots. Saros is going to have to stand on his head to keep the Preds in this game because the Predators allow that 33.3. Okay, but strong trends to the over as well. The Kraken versus teams with a winning record, their last 5 have gone over. The Kraken 6-1 in the last 7 to the over. And the Preds, they are in a 4-game in 6-day situation. Trend nice and solidly to that over with tied defense, going 6-1 in their last 7. Okay, let's move on to the 9 o'clock Eastern spot. Katie, shout out to you watching over on Twitch. Thank you for joining us. Sabres are terrible. Sabres are terrible. My Flames are terrible. Who else are we putting in that terrible category that have hurt us and cost us some money or not some love? That is for sure. It's definitely the Sabres and the Calgary Flames. Let's talk the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Dallas Stars. 9 o'clock Eastern matchup here. Total 6.5. The Penguins coming in as the dog on the back-to-back off a fantastic win. They're plus 130. The Dallas Stars minus 150. Jake Ottinger confirmed. Now it looks like we'll get Casey DeSmith in net for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but no confirmations as of yet. They got that beautiful win over the Colorado Avalanche 5-2 last night. And I loved every second of what we saw out of there. It was just an absolutely phenomenal game. Sidney Crosby lighting things up, and I do think he lights things up. He started the game with that first goal last night. And oh my God, I was happy because I had him for that goal. And it was beautiful, plus money. I still can't believe the plus money we're getting on him tonight. Sidney Crosby for the anytime goal at plus 175. How the hell do we not hit that, you guys? Over 1.5 points is plus 170. I feel better with the anytime goal than the points, but you could hit the points as well. We could just see 2 assists out of him tonight. Now, Jake Ottinger in for the Dallas Stars. We know how strong he is, and we know this Dallas Stars team has been known for limited goals, strong defense, but they've been putting up the goals as of late. And the Pittsburgh Penguins fighting here in the Metro, sitting 5th in the Metro. The Dallas Stars sitting 1st in the Central. This is another game that the last time out, back in December, we saw the Penguins win 2-1. I do think this one has every opportunity to go to OT here, plus 360 to go to OT. And I'm going to take a chance on the Penguins. Yes, they're on a back-to-back. And yes, they absolutely struggle on that back-to-back. But this team has heart. And this team is fighting right now. Well, I do think the Dallas Stars are a good team. They lost their last game to the Kraken in overtime, 5-4. I think they push it to overtime. And they walk away happy with a point and not the 2 points. Like I said, sitting 1st in the Central. I think the more motivated team is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, if you're looking for a player prop on the Dallas Stars side, Jason Robertson. Actually, I was really intrigued when I saw this. Over 3.5 shots on goal is minus 150. His last 2 games, he went over this. He got 4 shots and 5 shots on defenses that I think are a lot tougher than the Penguins here. So I do think Jason Robinson over 3.5 shots on goal. Great way to go for the Dallas Stars. And then Sidney Crosby. I got to ride with him for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're just battling way too hard. Looking at this total, I hate taking unders. You guys know it. I lean to the under 6.5. I'm not going to be betting this one, but if you want my side on the total, I would lean under. Okay, it's got Dallas Stars Q1 over. Yeah, I really do think we see a high-scoring start, and then things slow down. They're playing absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, that's for sure. Yeah, I cannot believe what we've seen out of him. 15 guys, and Omar could be the first-time goal scorer in the game. Very, very true. Okay, Wyatt Johnson's points have been great lately. Nice. Chris, what are you getting on Wyatt Johnson for points there? Okay, let's talk the game that I don't want to talk. You guys know I don't want to talk about my Calgary Flames. They are absolutely killing me. I was invited to the game tonight and nicely declined. I don't think I can emotionally sit there and watch them play Vegas or the Kings. I will go to that next couple of games to wind up their season. I think it's the Sharks and the Ducks. But at least it's games where I can get more into it. Facing Vegas and the Kings is going to be absolutely brutal here for Calgary. And I want to be able to yell at my TV, honestly. Calgary coming in at minus 150, which is just disgusting. Plus 130 here for the Vegas Golden Knights, total 6.5. And now I know Calgary won the last matchup in Vegas. They absolutely dominated on the 16th. They got that 7-2 win. Vegas, limited shots on goal in that one. Jonathan Quick just allowing those goals to come in. I'm looking at this game. Logan Thompson is confirmed in goal. He has been out for quite a while with injuries. Okay, Jacob Markstrom confirmed here for Calgary. We know Jacob Markstrom had that really bad game a couple of games ago. He just let everything in. He got pulled. Vladar went out. I do expect this first period to be an absolute battle. I think with Logan Thompson back from injury, I don't know if he can play up to the caliber that we need him to play for Vegas to get the win in the first period. I hate betting the Flames in the first period, but that's absolutely where I have to go. Calgary has to get off to a hot start if they have any chance of winning this. And I do think this one can go to overtime. We know Calgary gets up, right? And then they let these other teams come back. They go to OT and they lose. We saw it versus the Dallas Stars. We saw Dallas get those quick goals. I do think with Logan Thompson back from injury, we can count on Calgary on that puck line in the first period. Now, Calgary first period puck line minus a half a goal is plus 158. It seems a little high, but that is what FanDuel is giving us right now. I think Calgary can do it in the first period. I don't know if they win this game, you guys. I do think this one goes to overtime, plus 350 to go overtime. Battle of the Pacific here. Now, Vegas is going to come in with a chip on their shoulder to remember, because they are just off a loss to Calgary on the 16th. So that is like just right around the corner. Calgary has not been playing well at home either. 6-1 in the last 7 games. We look at the Vegas Golden Knights, so phenomenally strong on the road. When we look at Vegas' schedule, they've won their last 2. They got the 4-3 win over Vancouver, and they have the Oilers on deck on Saturday and then back home on Tuesday. So they've got 2 hard games on deck. I think Calgary sneaks it in the first period just because Logan Thompson back here. If it wasn't Logan Thompson back, and he's been out for quite a while, I would not be looking this way. But Calgary's best chance, hit him early, get up in this first period, and then fingers crossed they can hold on to the lead for me as a fan. Not for my wallet, though. I can't put my wallet there. Now, looking at the total, 6.5, I do think this is 3-3 going to OT, so I got to go over that. I think we get to that number of 7. If you're looking for player props in this one, Jack Eichel for the Vegas Golden Knights, 1+ points is coming in at minus 140. I know it's juicy, but I wanted to give you guys some other things because I know betting to go to OT and everything is risky. Blake Coleman as well. He's been playing really solid for Calgary. For him, for 1+ points tonight, it's plus 130. He had an assist or a goal in his last 4 games. So he has been playing really solid. Again, you're getting that one at plus 130, but I do think Calgary on that puck line in the first period. Fingers crossed. It should be an interesting one. Vegas money line. Are you going to take Vegas money line for the first period or just for the full game? I could see Vegas winning the full game. I just don't know. Vegas money line plus 140 and the Kraken money line minus 120. I like that, Kev. I really do. I don't trust Calgary to win this full game. Yeah, Calgary is in a tired spot. That's why I think if they have gas in the tank, it is to start versus Logan Thompson coming out here cold after not playing in a game for so long. So that's where I'm going. Johnson minus 110 tonight. Thompson is confirmed. Yeah, absolutely. Vegas plus 1.5 in a parlay and money line single. Yeah, this is going to be a 1-goal game. Absolutely. This is not going to be a blowout by either side, so unless Calgary falls apart. Let's be realistic. And if you're taking Vegas plus 1.5, then it doesn't matter. 10 o'clock Eastern matchup for the San Jose Sharks and the Vancouver Canucks. Now, the Vancouver Canucks been playing pretty solid hockey, but they're minus 165 favorites, so we got to find a good way to bet them here against a Sharks team that, thank God, isn't at home because we know they can't win at home. Plus 140, James Reimer expected here for the Sharks. Demko expected for Vancouver. Another battle of the Pacific. We got Vancouver sitting 6. We have the Sharks sitting 8. Vancouver off that game that they played really solid versus Vegas, but still lost 4-3. Now, the last time these teams played, we got the win with Vancouver 6-2 back in December. The Sharks have not played well in Vancouver. They played almost as bad in Vancouver as they play at home. They've lost their last 4 in Vancouver, and they've lost their last 10. They've lost 10 of the last 11 meetings versus Vancouver. This is one I can't fade Vancouver, and you guys know I really like to fade Vancouver in certain spots, but I just can't do it here. The value, though, minus 165. I can't get there. I don't know if this one goes to overtime. This could be one that goes to overtime. We know these teams are pushing things. I do think that first period, we got a total of 7 now in this game. First period over 1.5 is a nice way to look, but it's juiced again at minus 150. Both teams to score in the first period is plus 148. Now, we know Vancouver will score. So the question mark is, can the Sharks? Well, the Sharks were able to score versus Edmonton in that first period. And yes, their second period was their higher scoring period, but they still got a goal versus the Edmonton Oilers in the first. And we know how strong that team is at controlling the puck, especially getting the puck on their sticks. So I do think the Sharks against Vancouver's defense, it's shakier than Edmonton's, which is saying a lot, right? They're allowing that average of 30.9 shots on goal and 3.71 goals per game. So both teams to score. First period is where I'm putting my money. And then I don't have to watch this game because in all realistic cases, I don't want to watch this game. I lean on the over as well, but that total getting so high at 7. The last game, you guys, we've got one more here. You're going to take the Sharks on the money line. You have way more faith. Kelly, you're going to ride with both teams to score as well. I think it's definitely the way to go. The value, if you pile it up in the bet builder, yeah, absolutely. Full game. You're going to go with Vancouver. Yeah, you got to go with Vancouver. The last game on the board, you guys, we have the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Anaheim Ducks. 10 o'clock Eastern matchup. If you've lost all of your bets, this is the time to bet on this game. Winnipeg coming in here, minus 230. What have they done for us other than the win over the Coyotes on Tuesday? 2-1 win. They got the Kings on deck on Saturday. They're minus 230 here on the money line, plus 195 for the Anaheim Ducks, who are 12-19-3 at home. Not what I want to touch, but you look at Winnipeg, not outstanding on the road, 18-7-1 on the road this season, 21-15 on the road on that puck line. I don't have faith in them on the puck line for the full game. I do have faith in the Winnipeg Jets to come out strong in the first period and cover the first period puck line minus a half a goal at plus 110. We know the Anaheim Ducks have shown struggles in that first period. There has been home team advantage. So if you really do believe the Ducks can get the win, the home team has won 5 of the last 6 meetings. The Jets are 1-5 in their last 6 games following a win. This team can't string together anything, and they are 2-9 in their last 11 games playing on 1 day's rest. I do expect them to come out strong enough to win the first period, cover that puck line. They have failed to cover the puck line for the full game in each of their last 11 games as a favorite. So they've had tighter battles. I lean to the under in this one. Connor Hellebuyck expected here for the Winnipeg Jets and Dostal confirmed for the Anaheim Ducks. As long as Dostal gives us enough, because we know the Ducks allow these shots galore to come in. I just don't trust the Jets enough for the full game, and especially at this price. So first period, and then again, I can turn off this game and I can go to sleep. That's what I'm looking at with this one for 10 p.m. Eastern. Actually, 10 p.m. Eastern is early my time. It's 8, so I won't be going to bed, but you guys know what I mean. It's not a game I'm too interested to watch. Jets 8-2 versus the Ducks. Jets in regulation. Absolutely. Jets should be minus 120. Yeah, they should. Why are they minus 230 here? That is what I hate here with them. The Jets, Chris, the Jets are dead to a lot of people. Sabres and Flames are really dead to me right now. The Jets made that list after that Friday night. I tell you, that Friday night when they did not get that win, fading the Jets. So if you look here, okay, so if you want to fade the Jets, let's look. I didn't even look at what the Anaheim Ducks were on that puck line, just out of, I looked at this game and went Jets first period or nothing. So taking them plus 1.5 is plus 100 for the Anaheim Ducks on the puck line for the full game. We know the Jets can't cover a puck line to save their lives. Not covering the puck line in their last 11 as a favorite. So here they are, favorite, minus 230 favorite. Can you trust them? I can't. You guys, that's all the games today. Took us 49 minutes and 14 seconds to go over each and every one of those games. Now, tomorrow is Friday, so hit that subscribe button because you guys know I'm spontaneous on the weekend. Not sure what time I'll be going live. Ottawa game and Florida Panthers first quarter. What do you think? Give me the over 1.5 in that first quarter, Joe. I do think the first period goes over that number of 1.5, and I think both teams to score in that first period is a great way to go, Joe. Not betting it. Yeah, Neil, you don't have to bet everything, and that is a great thing. No one is forcing us to bet anything here. Not even me. I'm not telling you. I'm just telling you what I would bet in each and every one of these games, and then I'll tell you my best bets. Okay, are you guys ready for a recap? You guys heard me talk enough. I feel like these shows are getting so long. But 12-game slate, we kind of have to do it. Recap, parlay, best bets. Let's get going. Minnesota Wild taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. The Wild, it's a short price for them. It scares me why they're such a short price here. At -145, they are the team that should get the win. I just don't understand the price. I'm going to ride the over 5.5, and that's what I'm going to put into the parlay is the Wild and the Panthers over 5.5, because with them only being -145, they're expecting a lot out of the Flyers tonight. Matt Boldly here coming out for the Minnesota Wild. I'm going to take him over 3.5 shots on goal. I love this prop tonight. It's at +115. His last couple games, he's been putting up these shots like crazy, 5 and 6 shots in each of those games. Jake Allen of the Montreal Canadiens is confirmed in goal, and Swayman here confirmed for the Boston Bruins. Boston is such a huge favorite in this game versus Montreal with a really big look ahead, you guys. I really do like Montreal plus the 2.5 on that puck line. I do think the Boston Bruins just come out in this one just to get the win, not a huge blowout. So give me Montreal plus the 2.5 at -135 for the parlay. I think this one stays under that total of 6.5. Just think Boston has too many really solid games on deck that they have to step up for. That Montreal is going to be a look ahead. The New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. You guys, I can't wait for this game. One of my favorite bets today, and I'll let you guys know all of these ones that I think go to overtime, but the Rangers and the Canes to overtime at +330. I absolutely love today. I lean on the Rangers to get the win in this game. Now, this is a tricky one because it's either 2-2 going to overtime getting us 5, or it's 3-3 going to overtime getting us 7. So I'm going to stay off this total bet. Canes to go to OT, one of my favorites. For the parlay, I'm going to leave it out, you guys, just because I do lean on the Rangers, but I'm not positive they'll be able to get the win. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Ottawa Senators. You guys, we have the Lightning -125 +105 for the Sens. I love both teams to score in that first period. For the parlay, I'm going to take the Lightning and Sens over 1.5. It's too juiced to take straight up. But for one of my best bets, I do like the Lightning and the Sens, both teams to score first period. That's coming in at +142. Now, I like the over 6.5 for this full game as well. I love Braden Point for that anytime goal at +120 and Brady Tkachuk for the anytime goal at +125. I was looking at the Sens team total, so that's something I still might get with, but I'm not sure if I will. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers, another game. I love both teams to score. So for the parlay, we'll take the Leafs and the Panthers over 1.5 in that first period. But I do think this is one where you hit the Leafs and the Panthers, both teams to score in the first period. Now, both teams to score in the first period of this one is coming in at +136. This game is another one. OT written all over it at +380. I do think these teams push each other really hard and go to overtime. Matthew Tkachuk for the anytime goal for the Florida Panthers. I love at +110. Austin Matthews at +100. And I do lean over for the full game, but I don't love these numbers of 7. I like taking it when it drops to 6.5. So look to live bet this one. But I do like that first period, both teams to score. The St. Louis Blues and the Detroit Red Wings. The value is on the Blues tonight, you guys. I think the Blues can get the win at +105. I'm absolutely sold on them here tonight. I couldn't believe actually the Red Wings were favored at -125. So give me the Blues. I lean over. I'm going to throw the Blues on the money line into the parlay. The Chicago Blackhawks and the Washington Capitals. Ovechkin over 5.5 shots on goal tonight, coming in at -128. I love the Blackhawks give up way too many opportunities. If their goalie Anton ends up standing on his head, we know we've seen this when goalies make their debuts. They stand on their head. They have their best performances ever. We'll still get those shots by Ovechkin. So I am taking that. I do like the Capitals coming out here in the first period. I'm going to take the Capitals on the money line for the parlay. I do think they get the win. And for the best bet in this, it's the Washington Capitals on the puck line in the first period, -0.5 goal at +106. The Seattle Kraken and the Nashville Predators, 8 o'clock Eastern matchup here. It's a Kraken for me. Give me the Kraken on the money line in the parlay. I do think they can get it done, but I do think this is a tight fought battle here. I lean to the over 6, and actually I'm going to put the Kraken and the Preds in the parlay over 6. I think we see goals out of both of these teams here. These teams do play again. I'm going to take the Predators in the next matchup because I really do think the Kraken could lose this one by partying in Nashville on Friday night. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Dallas Stars. This is another game to go to overtime. So the Penguins and the Stars to go to OT is plus 360. All these overtime bets I think are worth a sprinkle, you guys. I really do love them. Now total 6.5 in this one. I lean to that under, but we know how easily these teams can go over. I just think bet it to go to OT. Give me Sidney Crosby for that anytime goal again at plus 175. Over 1.5 points if you want to be a little bit safer is at plus 170. I'm going to take a chance on the Penguins here on the money line at plus 130. This team is just absolutely fighting and battling here to get the win. If you want a player prop on the Dallas Stars side, Jason Robertson over 3.5 shots on goal at minus 115 is a really solid way to go. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Calgary. Oh, for the parlay in that one. Actually, let's just leave that one out of the parlay, honestly. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames. Again, another one I think can go to overtime. Vegas and Flames. OT is plus 350 to go to overtime. I think the first period over 1.5 is another really solid way to look. That's coming in at minus 128. So that's what I'm going to throw into the parlay. Vegas and Flames over 1.5 the first period. I am going to take, though, Calgary in that first period on the puck line at minus 0.5. So we're going to need Calgary to score both of those goals to cover that puck line. We can't go 1-1 into the second period. Now, Jack Eichel here of the Vegas Golden Knights for his 1+ points tonight is at minus 140. So we're paying some juice, but I do think a solid way to go. And Coleman coming in here for Calgary at 1+ points is plus 130. He's had a goal or an assist in the last 4 games. So he has been getting the points on the board. And Calgary in that first period on that puck line at minus half a goal is at plus 158. Now I do like the over 6.5 in this one. I do think this is a 3-4 game to go to overtime. So I might actually exact score bet this game, 3-4 for Calgary, but I'm going to put a little bit of money. You guys know that I'll end up going 4-3 for Vegas too, because I think anything can happen in overtime, right? So while I do want Calgary to get the win, I could see it being Vegas getting the win. The San Jose Sharks and the Vancouver Canucks, you guys, in this one, I like both teams to score in that first period. That's at plus 158, but I'm going to, for the parlay, give me the Sharks and Vancouver over 1.5. That's coming in at minus 150. I do expect the goals to come in. I lean for the full game over as well, but again, we're getting up to 7 there. The Vegas Golden Knights, or not the Vegas Golden Knights, the Winnipeg Jets and the Anaheim Ducks. It's the Jets in the first period on the puck line for the parlay. Give me the Jets on the money line first period. I'm really going to trust them in the first period. But for a best bet, puck line minus 0.5 at plus 110. I lean on the under in this game as well, but Connor Hellebuck absolutely has to play a solid game. We know he's had some struggles on the road, so that is my only question there. Joe, the first period over for the Panthers. Absolutely. I like that first period over. Okay. This parlay. Oh, Johnny, thank you. Let's make some freaking money here. Okay. The long shot parlay, the Minnesota Wild and the Florida Panthers over 5.5 for the full game. Again, Joe, I like that over for the first period. Montreal plus 2.5 on that puck line. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Ottawa Senators over 1.5 the first period. The Leafs and the Panthers. Hang on, what did I write here? It is the Wild and the Flyers. Okay, let's recap this one again. The Wild and the Flyers over 5.5. I knew it didn't sound right. Montreal plus 2.5 on the puck line. The Lightning and the Senators over 1.5 in the first period. The Leafs and the Panthers over 1.5 in the first period. The Blues on the money line, the Capitals on the money line, the Kraken and the Predators over 6. Vegas and the Flames first period over 1.5. The Sharks and Vancouver first period over 1.5, and the Jets on the money line. My favorite bets of the night, those games to go to overtime. The Rangers and the Canes to go to OT at plus 330. Tight fought battle there, you guys. The Lightning and the Senators, both teams to score in the first period at plus 142. The Leafs and the Panthers to go to OT at plus 380. Both teams to score in the first period at plus 136. And the Penguins and the Stars to go to OT at plus 360. I also, weirdly enough, I love the Blues here today, you guys. I think grabbing the Blues on the money line is absolutely money. I know I said I would stick around. I am 2 minutes late for a meeting. I am just seeing you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. I will be around again tomorrow. We'll go over all of tomorrow's games. I'll be able to answer any questions you have tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me here with Pocket with Joe. Man, see, I've talked too much. Drop your questions below if I missed anything in the chat. I will come back and answer them as soon as I'm done this meeting. I know people had questions on the Flames game on Saturday and Tippett props. I will look in those. I will below this video. Make notes. You guys know what I mean. Have a good one, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Team total over 3.5. Absolutely. That looks like great money. Let's go, you guys. Tyson Walker. Yeah, Tyson Walker tonight. Let's get him those 3-pointers. He only needs to sink a couple 3-pointers in that one. You guys, all the best. Have a great day. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money. I'll see you back here tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow. Bye, guys.